perfect timing. All right, I'll call to order the Monday, July 22nd meeting of Municipal Council. Number 2 on our agenda is our Indigenous Land Acknowledgement Statement. And it reads, as we gather, we are reminded that the Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal is situated on traditional territory of Indigenous peoples dating back countless generations, which is rich in history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people today. As a township, we have a responsibility for the stewardship of the lands on which we live, work, and play. And today, this meeting place is still home to Indigenous people, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on and call this land home. Approval of the agenda. Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, you have that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. The Municipality Council, moved by myself and second by Joe Martel, that Municipality Council approves the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Deputy. Changes? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Disclosure of pecuniary interest, conflict of interest, and the general nature thereof. Does anyone have an interest to declare? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to delegations and presentations. We have Chun Liang, Conservation and Demand Management. Welcome, Chun.
Hello, yes. Thank you for the opportunity to present. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Just hold on for 1 second, though.
I just like a bit of a preamble as to what Mr. Shishun will be speaking about.
Sure. Okay. Just one. If you'll bear with us, Chun, just give us 1 second.
Sure, I'm setting up too. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over and above the township's yearly energy consumption reporting for various buildings within the township, we are required every 5 years to update our conservation and demand management plan, which is the CDM. Our last CDM plan was created in June of 2019, has been on our website. This year we hired Treehouse Engineering Services through LAS to create the new CDM plan. During the months of May and June, I worked alongside Shun Liang to produce the document. The CDM plan was submitted prior to the July 1st deadline, and a copy of it is on our website. As per the regulations, Shun is here this evening to basically give council a quick overview of that plan.
Good.
So I'll turn it over to Shun. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. All right, Chun. 10, you and I don't know if we need to limit it to 10 on this one, do we?
Just go.
Just go. Yeah. All right.
Well, it's okay.
He's good to go.
Did you want?
Chun, are you there?
Yes, the sound is a little muted, but I can hear you. Yes.
I'll try to speak louder.
Yeah, I'll turn up my volume too.
We can hear you very well in here.
Okay, great. So yeah, let me turn on my camera. Great. So I'm juggling a few windows here. I have a window with my slides. So if I can present, I'll launch them. Oops. Bear with me here. I find the can you see my screen?
Very small. Yeah.
Yeah, I will increase the size. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah. Perfect.
Great, perfect. So let me oops. Okay. So I'm just trying to get up my slide notes here too. Just juggling a few screens. My apologies. Oh, there they are. Okay, perfect. So just a bit about Treehouse Energy Services. I was the former energy management supervisor for the city of Brampton, and I founded Treehouse a few years ago, and very grateful for the opportunity to write the plan in collaboration with Mike and to present it. So today's agenda. I'll just have another quick slide on what Treehouse does, and then we'll get right into the background of the things and the initiatives and the projects that that Edwardsburg Cardinal has done in the last 5 years, and then we'll talk about some of the goals and objectives of the current plan, and then we'll kind of go right into what your baseline energy and emissions are, some recommended future measures, and then we'll talk a bit about a reduction target, and we'll leave some time for Q&A if that works for everybody. Great. So in terms of Treehouse, we advise on climate care through decarbonization. We mostly work in the building energy sector, and we base our practice on net zero emissions. And that's just a picture of a building I worked on. So in terms of our offerings, we focus on 4 major areas. So we provide sort of a strategic program management with a net zero lens. And you can see that roadmap, which is kind of cut off at 6 steps. I actually have 12 steps, but I wanted to kind of abbreviate this for the slide, where we come up with integrated and custom studies through this 12-step process. We also provide project management services. So if you already are engaged in terms of a net zero implementation, we can provide we can provide steps to reduce project management risk. And then in terms of our ancillary services, I have provided net zero training in the past, as well as energy management training to staff. The audience is sort of meant for a coordinator, someone in a coordinator type role who's kind of getting up to speed on the specifics of energy management. I often find that municipalities have a climate coordinator that wears a number of different hats, and energy can be, quite in itself fairly broad, not to mention sustainability. So we provide targeted training and very focused training on energy management and net zero. Okay, so in terms of other ancillary services we provide, we do kind of application support work. So if you're looking to fill out a funding application, let's say with for the Green Municipal Fund, we provide that support as well. It can be administratively intensive, some of these applications to fill out with the provincial or federal government. And I also work on a part-time basis for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities in the community buildings stream, to help evaluate the technical and financial aspects of funding applications for across Canada. So I do that on a part-time basis for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Okay, so getting right into the current plan. So as many of you may know, and I see there's a message in the chat box. Oh, okay, we've already passed that. So so there is a regulation that's actually evolved over the years. And when I started off, helping municipalities and working for the municipalities, report to the Ontario government. The regulation was 39711. And since then, it's gone through 2 iterations, and now we're up to, 25, 23. The major changes since then are really the data platform. There's a platform that's managed by Energy Star. It's a US based platform that since the federal government has adopted, and excuse me, that all municipalities are required to input their energy data, and it's called the brand name is Portfolio Manager, and Energy Star manages that. So there are 13 facilities required to report based on the table that's outlined in the regulation. We have your community centers, your town halls, cultural facilities, things like that are required to report. So out of that list, there are 13 in Edwardsburg Cardinal that are required to report. Any questions so far? Okay, okay, good. So I'll just keep on to the next slide. Good. So the previous CDM plan was, the last 5 years, 2019 to 2023, and I've just kind of put in bullets some of the highlights from that last plan. So you've done a number of LED retrofits, and those are what I call kind of quick wins. They're very quick payback. When I started off doing lighting retrofits many years ago, LED was quite expensive. There was quite a premium on LED, and I've seen that price come down. So, we're sort of into less than a 5-year payback, and depending how you operate your facilities, you're probably in around 2 or 3 years, paying it back. It's all based on operating hours, in terms of how quickly your LED pays back. So, and then the other major project that was implemented that reaps quite a bit of energy savings is the dehumidification system that was upgraded at Spencerville. So most dehumidification systems are desiccant based. So if you've ever bought kind of a meat jerky or a dried fruit, you'll see kind of this pack of silica gel perhaps in the package, and that's to absorb moisture. So that's a current technology, but using something similar to a silica gel to absorb humidity within an ice rink. But some of the newer systems actually use a liquid desiccant, and so the humid air is kind of blown over this liquid and absorbs moisture. I won't get into any more of the technical details just because for the sake of time, but this new technology has been used in rinks before, and it has with quite high energy saving potential. So and then sort of on to the goals and objectives for the new plan from 2024 to 2025. Sorry, I think I was supposed to advance the slide earlier, but that was the slide. Some of the goals and objectives for the new plan, building on the previous 5-year plan, is to really focus on cost avoidance and cost recovery in terms of your electricity, natural gas, and propane bills. And so based on the last 5 years, you've saved about $20,000 and about 72,000 kilowatt hours in energy savings. And so we hope to kind of build upon that with the new plan, with the idea not of just sort of implementing projects, but having an energy awareness program and a culture of energy savings. And in terms of policy, Ontario has a current policy for clean energy. It's called Ontario's Plan for the Clean Energy Future, and its focus is reducing electricity demand, meaning that it's much cheaper to reduce the demand at the source rather than building new generation. So And obviously, you've probably seen the climate, declarations of climate emergencies and things like that. So that, there's a focus on not just on reducing energy demand, but also having clean energy. So, okay. And then we'll talk a bit about the reduction target. I had suggested a target between 1% and 5% based on your total energy use. I'll get more into that after the next few slides. So in terms of your current baseline of 2023, so the township is using the equivalent of 143 homes in terms of energy. And this is a calculator that's provided by the, sort of the national, Natural Resources Canada. And in terms of your emissions, you're emitting about 133, the equivalent of 133 passenger vehicles of emission, GHG emissions. So we do have the exact, tonnage of emissions and exact, energy consumption in the CDM plan, but I find those numbers can be very, hard to kind of visualize. So, often we'll put this in terms of home energy use or, passenger vehicle emissions to make it a bit more easier to grasp. And in terms of, the energy pie, as you can probably anticipate, the electricity use is the bulk of your fuel use, and followed by natural gas and propane. And there's been a trend to kind of move away from propane in the last 5 years to use more natural gas. And I recognize that's not feasible for all municipalities. Some municipalities, as you know, are in fairly remote areas, and so they need to get that their fuel trucked in. But for your township, there's been a trend to move away from that. Okay, so that's your baseline. Now, in terms of future conservation measures, as you might know, the arena equipment is the most energy intensive, and you have on sort of in the plan to overhaul another compressor in the arena, so that'll be a good one to do, to keep on in the plan. And then another a way to to really reduce energy use at scale is the heating and cooling units on top of the roofs of your facilities. So investigating some advanced controls to reduce heating and cooling. Thirdly, investigate rooftop solar PV. When I started working with solar rooftops in 2009, when the Ontario government released their feed-in tariff, solar was extremely expensive. It was, upwards of 25 to a 30-year payback. And now we're through some of my work with solar developers, we're in between 10 to 12 years payback, which still isn't great, but it's less than half than it was in 2009. And a key a key way to keep that payback period down is to kind of do that at scale. So you probably won't be getting that kind of payback, or as good as a payback with a 10 kilowatt system versus a 250 kilowatt system, and anywhere in between. And then, of course, continuing retrofits of lighting for all your facilities until they're all LED or to the most current technology. So in terms of your energy reduction target, the way I kind of approached this was I took your total energy use. You may be wondering how I came up between 1% to 5%, which is actually a fairly wide range. And it really depends how ambitious the municipality wants to be. And then, access to funding, to capital is another, another challenge. And then, many of your facilities have done your lighting already. So, the quick wins are less and less, and it becomes very, very challenging to get into deeper energy reductions once you've done some of those, uh, you know, faster paying back measures. So, um, the 1 to 5%, if I can break that down for you, if you're looking at a 1% reduction, you're basically looking at, retrofitting the equivalent of 5 of your fire halls with LED lighting. So, which is, you may not have fire halls, but that's kind of the equivalent of what it is. And so it becomes very challenging to, to look to plan for deeper energy reductions, when excuse me, as I mentioned before, when some of your simpler measures are done. So, but focusing on refrigeration in the past is good, and if you continue to do that, that will help toward that 1%. But I think the recommendation really is to have kind of, to do this at scale, and look at reducing your rooftop energy use, and certainly consider solar rooftops, because it is in terms of payback getting much better and better. There are funding sources available from the Green Municipal Fund to reduce your emissions footprint. So if you are looking for access to capital, that's one way, to accomplish that. Okay, so that comes to the end of the slides. I'll take a pause there, and I guess we can take some questions.
All right, thanks, John. Mike, did you have anything you wanted to add to it before I let the?
No, I'd just like to thank Sean for the work that he's helped putting the plan together, and as he's indicated, there are some potential opportunities out there, but we just have to be able to know if there's funding.
Sorry, I'm having not able to hear everything that's being said.
Nothing directed towards you, Sean. It was
Okay.
just Mike was just adding a couple of things.
Okay.
Questions, guys? Anybody?
Could you tell us how long life expectancy is of solar panels?
Yeah, so solar panels are guaranteed up to 20 years for 80% of their output. Now, there are solar panels that are still operating in space, which is a much harsher environment for much longer than 20 years. So I've seen installations that are upwards of 30 years that are still operating. Now, of course, their output is much less, but so that would be something that would need to be factored into your cash flow, into your cost recovery.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for your presentation. As you know, our main goal here is to reduce emissions, and in our two arenas, they account for 40% of our emissions in our municipality buildings, roughly.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I haven't done a breakdown of which facilities contribute most to the emissions, but your arenas use the most energy, and they're still fossil fuel based, some of them, and our grid's not completely clean, so it wouldn't surprise me if they were the top emitters.
You're right, and that leads up to my question.
Yeah.
I've been fighting this for about, I shouldn't say fighting, but been trying to get this going for about 5 years.
Mhm.
Is there something out there where you can have the ice temperature to rise and the air temperature to drop overnight. And that will help our energy. Is there something out there that we can do there for that? Is there a
Yeah,
system?
so refrigeration companies do have smart controllers. So what they do is they have, oh, sorry, I just dropped my phone. What they do have is a controller which has an infrared sensor. And so it monitors the temperature of the ice, you know, much more accurately. And then it varies, I don't want to get too technical here. It varies the head pressure of the compressor to save energy. That way, you know, you're basically only using as much energy as you need based on the ice temperature. The second thing you can do, and this, you know, this one's a little controversial, but you can reduce the thickness of your ice. And you know, it doesn't have to affect the quality of your hockey game, or you know, or whoever is kind of, you know, using the ice for whatever purpose. But there's you know, there's some controversy over that. Some you know, some of the feedback I've kind of heard from operations, you know, from working at different rinks is, you know, don't go below 1 inch, or don't go below 1.25, 1.25 of an inch. But there seems to be that sweet spot somewhere in between 1 and 1.25. I used to work on a curling rink, and they were saying, and I know this is a bit off topic, but you know, curlers like to keep their ice rink at 2 inches. So, which I was a little surprised about. It was actually the only curling rink I've ever worked with. So, but I would suggest, you know, going back to my first point is, you know, getting a smart controller for your system, you know, getting an infrared sensor to monitor, because it doesn't just monitor, you know, one temperature. It actually monitors different parts of your ice surface. So, so it's very accurate that way, and you can provide, you know, cooling where you most need it, and reduce your compressor energy.
Thank
I
you.
hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just to add on to what Councillor Smale was asking about with regards to solar panels. Is it not true though, once the infrastructure is there, replacing the panels is, I mean, at 20 or 25 years is a lesser cost than overall all the other components combined?
Yeah, it's possible. What you know, you certainly you know, you're keeping your material costs down, because the racking usually doesn't have to be replaced. It's usually aluminum. There's usually you know, not too much, you know, problems with the you know, the durability of that, you know, through weather conditions, you know, Canadian winters. Sorry. What you might find is, you want to be able to align your roof replacements with your solar PV replacements, because it doesn't make sense to, you know, it doesn't make sense to put in a solar PV system and then 1 year later have to remove it to replace the roof and then put it back. So.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Good. Thanks, Sean, for the presentation and the information. Will we see something further following, I mean, this delegation kind of a report? Are we gonna see some suggestions of projects that we're going to see moving forward, or things you'd like to move forward from us? or-
After I sit down with the managers of the different facilities, because this is not reporting just on recreational facilities, this is on environmental service,
Right.
fire, public works.
All facilities.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks again, Sean, for the information and the presentation.
Thank you.
Great. Oh, my pleasure. It was good meeting you all.
You
Yeah.
too.
Nice meeting you too. All right, let's move on to 5B, Mr. David Simpson for Lockmasters Meadow subdivision. Welcome, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Deputy Mayor, councillors, staff, thank you. I just wanted to give you a quick update on Lockmasters Meadow. If you drive by the site, you must wonder what's going on, because there's nothing going on. But I can tell you that Wendy and I have been working very hard. And she's phenomenal to work with, as all of your staff have been. I think we're getting very close to the point where we'll have our subdivision agreement, I'm hoping, in the next few weeks, and I've been speaking with the deputy mayor about perhaps some concessions with respect to the securities required under the subdivision agreement. The current bylaws call for a 50% deposit. And as you know, capital was just mentioned here a few minutes ago, but it's very difficult to come by these days. And if you have to pay half of something up front, it becomes very onerous because, but at the same time, the funding that is used for security will more than likely come from a lender who will require first mortgage security on the property. The lender will put up the money and then it's turned over to the municipality. And so I'm here to ask for a reduction in the amount of those securities and to ask you to ask your lawyers to consider some other options. There are inhibiting orders that can be put in place. There are restrictions on building permits that can be put in place, restrictions on occupancy permits. There are other options available to council rather than cash outlays on our behalf. And so that's basically what I'm here to discuss, and I hope Wendy will confirm that over the next few weeks, we may in fact have clearance from South Nation Conservation Authority and the county, and we do have our hydro agreements. We've got absolute title certified. We've been dealing with Enbridge and Bell and post office and all kinds of other authorities, and we've almost made it. So as you know, a 95 lot subdivision will generate a lot of tax dollars to the municipality. It'll generate jobs, it'll generate tourism, it'll generate a lot of benefit. And so we would like to move forward as quickly as we can, and once we get the subdivision agreement, we'd like to be able to discuss the securities and or some other options at earliest convenience. So I'm not going to bore you with anything more, but thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thanks, Mr. Simpson. You can probably stay there. I'm sure the group has some questions for you. You might want to just stay there. I'm sure there's going to be questions. So, do you want to go? Do you want to open?
Yeah, sure, I'll start rolling. I just wanna know, Mr. Simpson, we're gonna work very closely. We have a meeting tonight, closed session, but if everything goes ahead with the South Nation and United Counties, when do you feel you'll be putting shovels in the ground?
We've already lined up a contractor who's been ready to go for about 6 months now. And we're virtually ready to go now. The biggest issue right now is financing, and as part of the financing package, we have to deposit 580,000 with hydro, and we have to deposit our security agreement with the municipality, and so that number is a substantial amount, and so until we know what that number is, it's pretty difficult to finalize what we're trying to put in place. but we're ready to go. If you have a meeting afterwards and say, well, let's finance the project for Dave, then we're ready to go.
That's very good. That's all I want to know. Yeah, sure, Chris.
So what does, what does your build plan look like? You know, is it, you're gonna try and just build a whole bunch of homes and sell as you're building them, or are you gonna try and build them as you sell each house, or what's your strategy there?
We're looking at about 6 or 8 model houses for the project, and the houses will change. The frontage, the siding colors and so on will change as we progress. So if we have 8 model houses, then we might have 4 different fronts that will change them up. And so we have been working with Natalie Sophie. I don't know if you know Natalie. She's with Remax, lives in Prescott. And Natalie's a very aggressive realtor and very excited to get going on the project. And we've also got a couple of small builders that would like to buy some of the lots. And again, they're working with their marketing people from Ottawa and also locally, that we would hope to put on a marketing campaign, build 3 or 4 models, and put up a chip stand with free beer, and away we go.
Okay, so you build it with 3 or 4 models to start off with, and then as you sell, you can start to build your build plan.
But we would try to come up, we would come up with a marketing plan that we're optimistic that we can sell 30 houses a year for the next 3 years.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I have for now anyways, unless something else gets dragged out of my head.
Good, thanks, Chris. What?
I have nothing, but I'm excited to see you get going.
Thank you, thank you.
We need it in our township.
Yeah, it's certainly a long task, isn't it, to get a planned subdivision through and finalized and on paper and everything done and
Absolutely.
shovel
Well,
ready.
if you look at our draft plan approval, it was approved in 2013. So it's more than 10 years since Mr. Charbonneau started the project. I've only been involved for 3 years, but we had some amendments up front, and just dealing with CN Rail was 18, 19 months just to get an agreement out of them. Hydro, same thing, just a very onerous process.
Yeah, sure is. Thank you for your perseverance and seeing it through to hopefully finalization of it, for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Dave.
as the deputy said, we'll have a closed session discussion about this later, and we'll have a closed session discussion about it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else for round 2 for him before we let him go?
No.
Great. Nope, he's gone. Then let's move on to 5C, which is Rob Adams for the Township Strategic Plan. Welcome, Rob.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm delighted to be here joining you virtually today and excited to be able to present the final draft of the strategic plan.
Awesome.
So I'll maybe start sharing. Can you see the screen?
We've got it.
Okay, you can see the plan okay? Terrific. So congratulations to council.
We got a calendar.
Oh, you got a calendar. I'm sorry. Let me stop sharing for a second. Try this one. How's that?
Now you got it.
Now I've got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to present what is essentially the hard work of council and staff, and as well the community in putting together this strategic plan. It was our pleasure at Town Hall Consulting to be able to work with you collaboratively to be able to do this. And I think you'll find that the plan is a superb plan that you've put together. So I'll maybe just take you quickly through the plan. Let me just go to the next page. Just give me a quick second. So just our table of contents outlines everything in the plan. And then first of all, an executive summary, just to kind of highlight a couple of really important things. You did a superb job at engaging the public, both through some, I think there were several focus groups that we did, and as well open house. And we had really positive engagement through those activities, as well as some engagement tools that we used using social pinpoint and some surveys. And we actually had an impressive 92% of people who responded positively. And you should congratulate yourselves. That is an exceedingly high standard. I think you may be, of all our strategic plans that we've done, this may have been the most positive response rate that we got, with 79% stating that they agreed with the outline of the details you had in the plan, as well as a further 11% stating that they agreed but had some minor suggestions. As part of the strategic plan, you identified some really important things. The vision was to building today on the success of yesterday and excited for tomorrow. Awesome vision statement. And then your mission statement to grow a safe, healthy community while providing sustainable services for all to enjoy. And then under values, you identified accountability, integrity, teamwork, respect, and transparency as your values that the municipality places of importance when making critical decisions. And so superb work on the values that came up, and the public responded very positively to those as well. Finally, in the strategic plan, the meat of it is these 6 areas that you identified as kind of the strategic priorities: livable community, good governance, financial sustainability, infrastructure, growth and economic development, and the environment. And I think council really captured from our workshops the essence of the priorities for the community, and the feedback at the focus groups, as well as the public open houses and survey, really supported that work that council had done in identifying those areas. So without going through them in great detail, livable community identified things like economic development, connecting with residences, increasing affordable housing, expanding community events and recreation, and working to reduce mental health and addiction. And we put together an action plan for each of these objectives so that you would have actions you could follow up on with your staff as you move to execute on making Edwardsburg Cardinal an even more livable community. The next priority was good governance. And under good governance, we had some great suggestions on objectives around developing a succession plan and developing your people and their skills. Improving communication with the community was a really important piece that council identified, and the public appreciated that positively. As well, ensuring that services are delivered effectively and efficiently, and increasing efficiency of service delivery, and really trying to deliver more services effectively to the residents. So some good goals under good governance. Under financial sustainability, the primary objectives were to build a sustainable community, ensure the long-term viability of the port, and to seize grant funding opportunities as they become available to try to attract dollars into the community rather than relying on taxpayers funding all the time, which is a great suggestion. Under infrastructure, you identified the need to ensure that facilities are accessible. Working to revitalize your waterfront shoreline was a critical element that was identified and supported through the feedback we got from the public. Ensuring the long-term viability and maximum usage of Spencerville Arena and Community Center. Maintaining good infrastructure focused on County Road 2, water and sewer replacements in Phase 2. Ensuring infrastructure is in good condition, including store water pipe under the filled portion of the canal, and sustainability of water and stormwater infrastructure are other key pieces identified in infrastructure. Under growth and economic development, you identified ensuring that there's housing available. And apropos, you just had someone presenting earlier on some potential development in the community. Next was industrial park expansion, capitalizing on tourism, and supporting agricultural industry as the items under growth and economic development. Under the environment, protecting and maintaining the tree assets, promoting waste management and educating on waste reduction, promoting sustainable community via electric charging stations, promoting sustainability via natural gas service, promoting waste reduction and cost recovery, supporting a sustainable power system, and be a leader in fleet sustainability was another key objective with actions around all those. So overall, council, you had a very positive response rate from the public. I think you really nailed it. And I'm at this point pleased to present this completed strategic plan and answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I have no questions.
What? I just think you did a fantastic job in laying it out for us, and it looks really well. Got everything right to the point. Good job.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you as council deserve a lot of credit. The workshops we did, you really identified quickly what the priority should be, and those were supported by the public. And frankly, your staff were superb to work with. They really helped us to nail down what actions would support all those objectives and really tighten it up. So it's a very meaningful and action-oriented plan. So a lot of credit to your staff as well.
We're all family here.
Steve?
No, well, I had the one was, did we have a lot of input? And obviously, we had quite a lot of input and a lot of positive input. So I feel really, really good about that being part of the council, that, you know, our taxpayers really thought that we did a good job. We're on the right track. So I think we are on the right track. So, and with the help of you and staff, thanks you, Rob. And I'm like I said, I'm very proud to be part of that team to where we are. So thank you.
Thanks, Rob. This is a good report. It's good to see that we're on the right track. And I think, I think we did a good job of making it, but I think it really matters, and I think we're all pretty attuned to it, and we talk to our residents a lot, and we get that feedback from, which is great. With regards to the actions that you have here, is there a more detailed plan in the background as well, you were saying, or is this that the next steps are we develop those internally and go forth with that?
Yeah, there is a more detailed action plan with we actually have a tool that we'll be sharing with staff to be able to track these things going forward in more detail, making sure that they're assigned to someone, that there's a time frame involved, and that there's budget allocated to it. So this is kind of the overview for the public, but there are obviously items that will want to work from the strategic plan into the work plans for your staff. And we've been working with staff on those things.
And just lastly, you mentioned, I guess, along the good governance about reviewing and assessing benchmarks and metrics and stuff. So the tool also has a lot of metrics we can use as well, it sounds like, and because I like my charts. I like to see, shifts and things as we're doing them. So is that something that comes along with this asset as well, or with this tool you're talking about, or is it?
Well, the tool really is just managing, moving those action items and making sure that we can report on them and that they're moving forward effectively. But another piece that you might consider, and I'm glad to work with your staff to help, is on your reports that come to council, it would be really good to identify what relationship things have to the strategic plan. For example, if you had a report on the item that you just had, you could have a section in the report, if there was a report, I know it was a presentation, but you could have a section in there, how it relates to moving the goals of the strategic plan forward, and it would identify the specific action in the strategic plan, in this case related to providing housing options for residents, and that it's moving forward and that it supports the strategic plan. It's a way to make sure that there's tie-in with the things that you're doing, the decisions that you're making. So
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's what I have for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, Rob, we would see those, like when we would get a report or when we get a recommendation, those. Like that would be a line in the report. Like any report that comes forward, how it relates back to moving actionable items through a strategic plan.
yeah, so I would see you probably have sections that are standard in your reports. It might be background, cost, action. You could have a section on strategic plans. And does this item support your strategic plan? If so, which initiatives in it? And I'm glad to connect with your staff and provide them with some of those templates that we've used for other municipalities to be able to start to integrate that into your reporting structure. I'll do that, and I'll let staff take it from there.
Anybody want to follow up with him before I go?
No, sounds good.
Good. All right. Rob, I just want to say, part one complete, at least now it's our turn, right? It was our turn to help you with this, but now we have that roadmap in front of us to continue to follow. I think this group's doing a fantastic job, doing everything that they said they were going to do when they got elected. So, but this plan gives us, actionable items. And we really need, to make sure that we continue to follow along with that plan and continue to check things off, so we don't end up losing our focus, that we stay, very laser focused on what exactly that strategic plan was and why we put it together. I think it should help us, through the last 2 years of our term to get exactly, where we want to go.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you, Mr. Mayor, and council, also with your staff. And the community members who came out and participated were very insightful, very engaged, and provided great feedback. I have a lot of confidence based on the results, the quality of the plan that was put together, that you're going to be able to achieve those results. And I have a lot of confidence in your staff that they now have a plan that they can focus on to be able to deliver those results you're looking for.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for being part of that, Rob. It meant a lot to us. We've seen the work that you've done, or some of us have seen the work that you've done elsewhere. And it was certainly fantastic to have you here leading the way with us, or at least guiding the way, let's say, with us. And I look forward to continuing to catch up with you at, Roma or AMO or anywhere else that we managed to keep up. So thanks for the great work, and I look forward to moving this forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks again, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
You do, Rob. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Great. Moving on to 6, which is consent agenda. Listed under consent agenda are considered routine and no longer require a further discussion or enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule is that a member may request that one or more items be pulled for discussion and voted on separately. Councillor Ward, I think you have that in.
I do. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that municipal council receives and approves the following consent agenda items as presented. A, regular council, June 24th, 2024. B, Public Library Board, May 28th, 2024. And C, Port Management Committee, June 17th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Alright, before I call the question, does anyone want one of those items or any of those items removed? Alright, hearing none, then I'm gonna call the question on approval of the consent agenda, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we are skipping over, so we're starting at 10A, am I correct? Okay. Start, get it. It's only taken a year.
You're slow.
I'm picking it up. I'm getting there. All right, so 10A, which is the second quarter Treasury and Reserve Report, and Counselor Smale, I think you have that one as well.
I do, your worship.
Councilor Ward.
Nope,
Councilor
Counselor
Ward.
Smale.
Get used to my voice. I think I do the
Councilor
short
Ward,
straw. there
sorry.
this
Did I say
evening.
Smale? Did I say
Yeah.
Smale? If I said Smale, my apologies. Counselor Ward, I think you have that.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that municipal council receives the 2024 second quarter treasury and reserve report as presented.
Thank you. All right, and, all right. Ms. Crawford, would you like to speak to your report?
Absolutely. Through the chair, so this first item, we're gonna be taking a look at, 4 different reports. The first one being a capital analysis. So just going through some changes that have happened in the second quarter, so we have completed some of the capital projects.
36.
Can you pause for 1 sec? We're just all, I hear it everywhere around me. Which page are we on?
Which
36 of 188.
36? Good, thank you. That's way-
Me too, I was way too far ahead. Sorry, Ms. Crawford.
I'm sorry.
Now we're good to go. Sure.
So, some projects, completed in Q2 in regard to recreation. We saw picnic table replacement, kayak docks, bleachers, as well as, the South Center furnace and AC unit upgrades. So in the column of Q2 actuals, you'll see the amounts there that we have accrued, as of June 30th. In regards to the administration office upgrades, we saw some expenses in there, 74, just over 74,000. That was in regards to the server relocation, furniture and council chambers, and some electrical work in the township office. In regards to public works, you can see in Q2, we have booked the amount for the tandem truck plow. So that project is not complete. And expenses booked. For the rest of public works, not a lot of progress. A lot of that work is going to be done more in Q3, Q4. So tenders have been awarded. We did just close tender July 2nd for the other plow truck that's expected to be delivered in 2025. And I believe there is a report coming later tonight regarding the award of that tender. So below for the service, not a lot of change Q2, just seeing a lot of the invoices coming in for the projects that were completed in Q1. And I believe we're still awaiting some invoices there.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Questions in regard to the Treasury and Reserve Report?
Not questions. It almost looks like we're not doing enough, but then the roads are all of a sudden gonna fill this up really quickly as soon as they start to happen, and I'm sure it'll all be back on our spend. Not that it's not bad to save money, but yeah, looking good.
Yeah, I'm very pleased, especially with some of our projects that were completed, that came in under budget, a little bit of money, to play with. So job well done, recreation, public works. So keep up the work, you guys. Thanks very much.
Counselor?
He said.
I agree with the deputy mayor. Well done, good job.
Yeah, there's really not a lot left there, is there? Really? I mean, it's mostly road work at this point, but it looks good, so.
Can't wait.
All right, so did I call? I didn't call a question on this one then? No.
That just,
That's just the first of four.
yeah, there's four
So-
reports under. So the next is where I'm
Do I-
gonna speak to the.
Oh, you want to speak to them all?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, just quickly, overview of each report. So next, looking at the financial report, just taking a look at the variances between the prior year and the current year. So you'll see accounts receivable is a bit high, that's just due to the booking of, HST. And then in liabilities, if you can see that in the prior year, at Q2, accounts payable was quite high, but this is due to capital projects were already initiated in 2023, whereas in 2024, we're not going to see those until Q3 or due to the road work. And then with long-term debt, that has lowered due to no new debt being issued this year, and then there are 2 loans that have been completed. So that brings me to the long-term debt schedule. So the changes in Q2, we can see that the 2019 GMC Sierra was completed at the end of March. And then the 2020 Case Grader, the last payment that was made was the end of June. So those 2 loans are now complete, just leaving the 2 that are liable for the municipality, the fire communication equipment and cargo arena.
good shape there too. Questions and this point, anyone? I don't think there's any questions with that.
Okay, so just the last report here on this item is the reserves report. So, with regards to the capital projects we've been completing, we have made some transfers out of reserves to just offset those costs. So from administration, you see the 85,975, and then as well as the COVID reserve has been completed. And you'll see out of public works, the 328,594 that directly relates to the plow truck that you saw in the capital report. The 61,480 is in relation to the recreation.
Good. Questions in regard to the reserves? I do have one. And it's the modernization dollars. We've been sitting on them for a while. Are they, remind me, have we budgeted those to be used this year? Is it for here or?
I believe it's for the administration capital project.
Okay.
Some of those funds are going to be used from that reserve.
Okay, I just noticed that from the admin work that's been done, we took the 85,000 out of the admin balance, not out of the modernization. That's, just wasn't quite sure where we were at with that.
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, the modernization money will be taken out at year end for the rest of the project. So we just kind of went reserve account by reserve account. So anything feature that comes out of admin, and I think there was some items for public works for some of their computer upgrades and stuff. Once that those projects are complete, then it'll be transferred out.
Okay,
So it will
So-
be transferred out by year.
so safe to say by the end of this year that like 98,3,817 will no longer be in our reserves.
Correct.
Good. I don't think there's anything else right now. Took us 5 years to spend this. All right, further questions at all for the Treasury and Reserve report? Nope, now that we've had all 4. I think I'll call the question then. All in favor? Of course you are. All right, moving on to, I was trying to get Councillor Smale in earlier as well, which was the second quarter budget variance reports. Councillor Smale.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joe Martell, that municipal council receives the second quarter budget variance report as presented.
Thank you, and Ms. Crawford.
Through the chair. So this is our budget variance report. So for Q2, we expect that 50% of the budget to be remaining. At this point, the report shows 62.26% of the budget's remaining. And this is mainly due to, again, the capital projects that we haven't initiated yet. So some variances to note in revenues. So there is an amount like that's showing 84% remaining captured for public works. There is a one-time payment that we received annually in September. So in the Q3 report, you'll see that number down. And as well noted that the building permit fees are at 67% of the budgeted amount. Just due to an increase of the issuance of permits and some large projects completed in Q2 for the building department. Some variances to note in expenses. So public works vehicle expense has 38.33% remaining just due to increase in repairs and replacements, and also some warranty that was purchased. So again, these have been discussed in previous municipal disbursement reports. And just to note, and also in capital expenses, there are some expenses showing on there that relate to projects that were related to 2023. And just public works capital expense in relation to that plow truck that was delivered in Q2 and offset by a transfer from reserves.
Good. All right, questions?
Sure, through the chair. Just one, and I apologize for not sending you this question in advance. I just, of course, I was cramming today, so I did this. You would have got it at 4:30, so that's no good. The curbside waste and recycling, you know, I know these are probably around 50%. Do we know why this is coming up short so far? It seems like it's only at about well, 60% of where it should be roughly, if I did some quick math there. I don't know if we know something going on there, or if that's just doesn't seem like that one can be timing, just one of these timing things.
For sure, so you're looking at.
On page 42 of 188 for the for your year-to-date variance report, the revenue for the curbside waste and recycling. I'm assuming that's sort of the bag sales, but
Sure. I don't have it.
but that's fine. Like I said, you know, like we can figure that out and let me know. That'd be awesome. It just doesn't seem right. Something's missing there, I thought. But that was it. So okay,
I will definitely get back to you on.
perfect. Thank you.
Good. Yep. Yeah.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Looks great.
Yeah, I'm very pleased.
No, good. Okay. Continue, or we? No, council remunerations next. All right. So I didn't jump yes, I was making sure that I didn't miss a report this time and that it wasn't on it. I had to look down. I will call the roll. All in favor? All right, now we're on the council remuneration report, and Councillor Martel, I think you have that.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Waddy Smail, that municipal council receives the second quarter council remuneration report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Martel. I don't think there's anyone to speak to. There's nothing to speak to this. Anyone have comments or questions at all? No. Great. Then I'll call the question on receiving the remuneration report. All in favor? Well, then, so application for severance B-75-24 2303 Ventnor Road in engineering and surveying on behalf of Craddock. Deputy Mayor, I think you have that one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Martel that Municipality Council 1 recommend in favor of the seventh application B-74-24 and recommend in favor of seventh application B-75-24 conditional upon the applicant owner obtaining relief from the zoning bylaw as necessary to prevent the deficiency of lot frontage for contained plot.
Awesome. All right.
And I do have it.
Discussion?
When you look at this, the retained lot, why are we? And maybe there's reasons, good reasons, I just, I'm sure maybe I don't understand. Why would we not be having that retained address moved to being on 44 and having all that frontage on 44? And instead of making them have this really long driveway to, and I shouldn't say making them, sorry, instead of them having to have a really long driveway to get to their house.
Can't
Just
get
seems-
anything off Penny Road.
Through the chair, I can speak to that, that's okay. Through the pre-consultation stage, one of the earliest things the applicant does in the pre-consultation is checking with the counties to see if they're able to have an entrance there. They weren't in this case. It would be a safety hazard. I drive that stretch of County Road 44 often, and I could see how an entranceway in that area of 44 would not be ideal. But the township off Bentner Road would be happy to have an additional 2 entrances off Bentner Road to accommodate that. We saw there was an easement, a Hydro One pole line easement, where you put those entranceways. The applicant provided the easement agreement from the title of the property, and there's no issues with having the entranceways there, and staff is approved that.
This seems like a 173-foot lane that you don't really want to have, but okay.
Yeah, development will be limited in that like 20-foot area. You could decide to put a house there. You know, that's just 1 or 2 lots over. There was another driveway that was just as long. So there'd be some additional costs if they wanted to put a house there, but I think better than the safety concerns from the entranceway off of County Road 44.
All right, thank you.
Debbie?
No, we just, Wendy and I discussed this before the meeting that, it's possible they can get 3 retained, get 2 off that severance with the frontage, just, making the frontage at 20 meters a little wider. And we just have to get a minor variance, so I think it's great. And I can understand, you're right, Wendy, coming around that corner. With the house off of or driveway off of 44. It'd be suicide, so. No,
It's good.
I have no questions, no issues.
Counselor?
Good.
Good.
Not here.
Good. All right, and one last time, Chris, anybody? No, then I'll call the question, then all in favor?
Aye.
Good. All right, application for severance B-81-24, 1212 Carter Road on Adobe, Councilor Ward, I think, yeah.
Do you have it? Yes, moved by myself, led by Deputy Mayor Dilaba. Municipal Council recommend in favor of severance B-81-24, including the proposed easement with the condition that a zoning bylaw amendment is obtained to address the deficit lot frontage on the severed lot and prohibit future non-agricultural use in residential uses on the retained parcel.
All right, questions, comments?
Well, this one also.
Councilor Smales?
Not here.
Councilor Michelle?
No, I love that.
Chris?
I mean, this one just seems weird that, I don't know, so we're severing off the house and all the farm buildings off of the farm. And then giving an easement to get up to the middle of the property. And something, I don't know, anyways, just, I'm okay with it, but it just seems weird that we're doing that instead of, like, the access to the farm should still be at the road, like on Crowder Road. I don't know why they would be doing this. That's the part that I'm not sure of, so.
How we gonna sell the house?
Yeah, but then all the farm buildings that are on the property that they're severing is, unless I saw that wrong, I think all those property, like all the barns and everything else are all gonna be on the severed property that they're selling. So it just seemed weird to me. I don't know if there's a story there, but.
Can speak with that. Yep.
Yep.
Through the mayor. The applicant, is farming the retained lands, and those accessory structures not needed for the farm, but are used for the residential use. He has obtained a change of use permit for all of those accessory structures. They're no longer farm buildings, they're used for storage now. And so that's what that's the official use of those structures now. The entranceway would belong to the separate owner of the residential. on a residential parcel, that separate lot. But instead of creating another entranceway off of Crowder Road, they would ask for an easement off of, for the width of the driveway, so that they could also use that driveway, to farm the land as well. And so the smaller lot frontage of 11 meters at the entrance of the driveway, if you were to make that wider, then you're taking away a lot of agricultural land as well, so it makes sense to keep that smaller. They could address that lot frontage deficiency in the same application as the zoning amendment that they already need to permit residential use on the retained.
Yeah, through the chair, I thank you very much, appreciate that, Wendy, it's just, I mean, there's nothing back there they need to access except for the whole field, which they, it's like, it's just. Looks a little weird to me, but that's fine, it's that they're agreed to that, they changed the use of the building, so that's fine.
Good. Anyone else?
No, I just reply.
Okay, now I'm gonna call the. Anybody else? Last call? All right, call the question then, all in favor? All right, so move on to item F, which is Township Strategic Plan, and that's Councilor Martel.
Thank you, your worship, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Wattie Smale, that municipal council receives the 2024-2028 Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal Strategic Plan as presented.
Thank you, Councilor. All right, well, comments, questions?
Well done, guys. Good input from staff, good input from us as council.
Agree.
Yeah, it's good to see that we're also, doing what people want us to be doing, heading in the right direction, so.
Good, you guys?
I agree. Looks like we're doing a really good job. Everybody's pretty pleased with it, so.
Can't talk that.
I would echo, all of those things. I think having the roadmap in front of us is such a valuable thing, and every single time we action something, 92% of the public that took the time to respond agrees with the things that we'll be actioning. So I think that's fantastic as far as we move forward. The only thing I would say is, to staff, thank you obviously as well for all the input and the work that you guys put into it. The one thing I would like, if it's possible to see, like Rob said, there's always policy implications, financial considerations and recommendation. But if we can add that line and how it relates back to, checking that box off on strategic plan, that'd be fantastic. My only input. Thanks again to Rob and Sean. I know Sean, you work closely with Rob on this and outside of this as well. So, to all staff, and any that aren't here, Sean, Senator, thank you as a whole. Any further comments, guys? Okay, hearing and seeing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Yep. Page 2. 2024 budget increase salary review, Councilor Smale.
Thank you, your worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Joe Martel, Councilor, that municipal council approves the budget increase for the 2024 salary and pay equity study from 10,000 to 25,000.
Good. So, do you want to speak to it?
Sure, thank you, through the chair. Again, what you have in front of you is the request for a budget increase from 10,000 to 25,000 to do a pay equity study. And also would include council remuneration as well. And also pay equity. As we know, we're going into negotiations with the union. So it would be nice to have this in our back pocket for those times, just to make sure that we're being fair with everybody. Now in the report, when I did the report, I didn't have all of the quotes in, but I do now. So I did get 3 quotes on this project. So one was from Cornerstones, who have done this work for us before. I think 2014, I think was the last one that they did for us. They came in with a range of 22,000 to 33,000 for this. I also, got a quote from HCI, a big firm out of southwestern Ontario. Their bid was between 19,000 and 24,000. All based on consulting time, obviously, and then Pesci and Associates came in at 25,200. So that's where went with the 25,000. So all well within the 75,000 budget for me to get this moving. However, it is significantly over what was originally passed in the budget, which was $10,000.
Yeah, certainly respect it, coming, continuing to come to us, even if it absolutely didn't have to, it's different, but I mean, going into negotiations, it's a valuable thing. It'll be an open report as well when it's done. And when do we expect to receive? October, so we'll have it in advance of those negotiations. The union will know what it says.
Yes.
And all of our members will know what it says going into those negotiations as well.
When we have our next labor management committee meeting, I'll make sure to mention that we've engaged a firm to do this and be transparent with that as far as what the outcomes are.
Good, awesome. Thanks for bringing it. Anything?
Just one little question, and if it's treading into dangerous territory, just don't answer, but that's fine. Why did we only have non-union staff in this? It's not a review, it's just a review of all the unionized staff, is what I'm seeing.
That would have been an omission on my part. This is for union and non-union stuff.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
Yeah, it says that, yeah.
okay, that's fine. Never mind.
And for us as councils.
Yes.
That's all right.
It says non-union and union.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, just missing it.
First sentence of background.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was
Non-union.
looking down at the second paragraph
Yeah.
where I saw that. Okay.
Oh, yes, so for clarity on that, all that they would do for the union staff is a market survey. Whereas for the non-union staff, it is an actual job description, and because all the job descriptions are in the
Collective
agreement, so that's not really up for, it's really just the wage.
Okay.
Comparison
Get it?
between other,
Now I get it.
yeah, sorry.
Perfect. That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I just have one question. So are we saying that we're giving it to the second quote of 19 to 24,000?
I haven't gone through the proposals in great detail yet.
Okay. Thank you.
No, Steve, that's my question.
Good. I'll call the question then to increase budget from 10 to 25. All in favor? Yes, we are. Okay. Where do we find ourselves now? All right, so we are on item H, I think, correct? Yeah. Township Facilities Conservation and Demand Management Plan, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Martel. The municipality council receives the Township Riversburg Cardinal 2024-2029 Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan as presented.
Thank you. We had the delegation before. Before these guys have anything else? Is there anything else in the report itself that you wanna?
No, I don't think so.
You're good?
Well, actually, I will just, so when it comes to the actual yearly reporting for the energy, that's done yearly for each of the facilities of the 13 facilities. So the four big facilities are the two arenas, water treatment plant, and the wastewater plant.
Yeah.
They're the big four.
Yeah.
The ingredient being the highest.
Yeah, the bulk of the energy
Yeah,
consumption.
and then the waste treatment plant is second, and then special arena, and then the water treatment plant. Are the top four.
All right, I have a couple of questions, but I'm gonna let everybody else go ahead. So, one,
None here.
Joe,
None here.
Steve,
Yeah, I just have the on page 99 and 188 where We spent $4,000 in the Cardinal Fire Hall, changing our LED, and we saved 1,600. We did the same lights in the Spencerville Fire Hall, same amount of money, $4,000, and we saved 220. I don't get it.
I'll have to look into that.
Okay,
I answer that.
just seems such a big
Yep.
gap, that's what caught me, so I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you. That's the only thing I had. I think everything else is good. New furnace, new AC, perfect.
Chris, and
No, I think just in keeping what we were talking about along the way, various things today, identify when we see some of these initiatives coming up for the next budgets and things like that, knowing, these are for cost savings and things like that, giving that business case would be good to see as well. So that's only the comment I have on that, so.
I know there was a bit of a conversation regarding rooftop solar. The municipality back in 2012 or 2013 made the pitch to get some those rooftop units in Spencerville and in Cardinal, and there wasn't enough room in the grid at that time. Spoken. That was either through Hydro One out here or Hydro in Cardinal.
Hopefully they fix that.
We haven't done any further since then, but we definitely made the application, but we were turned down because of that.
What year was that, sorry? What was?
2012, 2013, I believe.
That was about the same time that I personally applied for some solar panels on my property, which I got, so, but I know they were doing some grid work back then, but it's a good conversation to find out. Especially when you start adding more houses in the area, hopefully the grid can handle that too.
good, yep, good. Mine goes to that as well. I'm certainly watching along with, Brockville, they're doing renovations to the Memorial Center and looking at, 41 million for a new building, and part of the work that they would have to do on the existing Memorial Center is actually fix the damage that the solar panels caused to the roof. And, when we get into projects like this, I almost said I was glad we didn't get them in 2013 because, they're small savings per year with a big output at the beginning. And in Brockville, as much as it ended up being money making, it's going to cost them a lot of money to fix the roof and fix the damage of the installation of them with no recourse as well at all.
And that was the concern putting them on the Spencerville area at the time, was the fact that the building was old, and if we would have potentially done that, say, 2012, 2015 range. We're looking at 10, 12 years into a project, and yes, we did the 5-year structural reviews, and we've had no issue. But if you're putting more weight up on the top there, then we don't know what that result is then, right?
Then what? My only other question, Mike, and I should have sent it ahead, and I apologize, but the running totals of the investment upfront to the return in the long run, is there a plus minus total somewhere so that we know? Like he said, and I didn't ask it when he was talking, but he said we had saved $20,000 over 5 years. It has to be more than that, isn't it?
On energy itself?
Yes.
In those facilities. That's just on when we are reducing energy by changing lights and what have you. So yeah, no, it would be much more than that.
That's the right number.
Yeah.
So, but the investment's considerably more than that.
But the investment, for example, the lights, it's like a 5-year payback or a 2.5, 3-year payback. So you're putting the initial investment up, but then over the course of those 5, 6, 7 years, you're going to recoup. Just like we're talking about the compressor at the Spencerville Arena, that's being completed right now. And so there is an upfront cost to that, but you will see down the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see the energy reduction a little bit that will basically offset the cost of that.
Right.
And then more.
But that's work that we had to do.
That's correct. Well, we didn't have to. But it's better to overhaul a 50-horse compressor now than to have to purchase a new one.
That have a fail or.
Is that a
Yeah.
backup one that we're redoing? Like we have 2 compressors up there, is that right?
Yeah, it's the 50,
So-
we have a 50-horse and a 30-horse instrument.
And is this the backup one though
No,
that
this
we're
is the-
rebuilding?
This is the main one, the 50.
This is a 50, okay, I thought it was a rebuild, I thought it was a backup one, okay, so it's a 50 horse one,
That's correct.
okay.
And I think
And I like that.
my line of sort of questioning is more along the lines of like, you know, replacing the fluorescents in here with LEDs.
Mhm.
Does it make sense to replace the fluorescents with LEDs? If ultimately there's, I mean, if there's an energy savings, that's great, and if that's our ultimate goal is that we're gonna save energy, that's wonderful, but it doesn't come at a cost.
Well, it certainly comes at a cost for some things. If you look at the arenas, like the Spencer Arena, we put induction lighting in I think 208 or 210 with hydro money grants. And within 6 years, those induction lights were basically obsolete.
Yeah.
Then we had to switch. So
Right.
I don't see that LED is gonna be going down that path. So, you know, over the course of time, we will reduce some energy costs by changing them. All depends how much money you wanna pay up front in order to be able to get that.
I think that's where I'm going with it, and
In some cases, it's minimal, and it's like other times, other cases, like if you were to change the arenas, which we did, both. We took the induction out of both rings, even the new one.
Yeah.
And put LEDs in, and it's because the induction were no longer available.
yeah, the ballast and
That's
everything.
correct.
Yeah, I remember that being quite a discussion.
Yes, it was.
And don't get me wrong, I'm all for conservation, but I think it should be very, we talk about a strategic plan that's very open and transparent, and if it comes at a higher cost, I think that we need to make sure that those running totals are shown and what the anticipated, not just the anticipated savings, but, you know, I think both tales need to be told. That's my only input on that. All right, further, anyone?
Just, you know, to your point there too, you know, and it was in our, you know, in our strategic plan as well, you know, making sure that we're also seeking your funding for those. There's lots of initiatives out there that hopefully offset these things, but, you know, I know it's a tall order to try and find them all. I was trying to do something recently for something else, and it's hard to find all the initiatives that are out there, but, you know, there is money to be made or to be recollected back, if you will, from some of those funds for sure, so.
Well, and it all depends what building it is too. There could be funding for recreational facilities, but there may not be funding for environmental service facilities, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, there's a game there for sure.
Sure. Yep. And that's where, you know, somebody like Sean, who's familiar with, you know, the grant writing, it sounds like the grant writing process and knowing, you know, exactly if that's his job, knowing exactly what grants are out there that are available. It's probably good to keep in touch with him just to.
Yeah, we had good communication throughout the 2 months working with him. Again, he was introduced by LAS.
Yeah.
So he's, you know, the consulting fees came through LAS, through his company, but going down the road, I mean, if there are projects potentially that a lighting project, we may look at his expertise for guidance as well.
Right. Yeah, well, that's great. Awesome. Further, anyone? Gone. All right, then I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Good discussion. All right, award, I like the way this one starts, award the truck. Just do it, award the truck. With snowplow equipment tender, ECPW 24-07, Councilor Ward, will you bring it forward?
I can, moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dilaba, that municipal council award the 5-ton truck plus related snowplow equipment tender EC-PW 24-07 to Premier Truck Group at the bid price of $360,925 plus HST for a total cost of $407,845.25 and direct staff to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you very much. Just before we go further to, treasurer, CAO, maybe even Chris. 369.25 plus HST 407. The 370 we budgeted. Like sometimes it's non-rebated HST, sometimes it's HST. This is looks a little different, I think, than what I'm used to seeing. So is the 360 under the 370 or is the 407 over? Sense?
Chair. I'll just do my math here. Yeah, it is under 367, 30 with non-rebatable HST.
So we're under, but I'm just thinking towards budget. So we're making the number. And is this the one that we put out once before and we're back to it? Or is this?
That's correct.
Okay, good. And refresh my memory, and maybe in the report, did it come in a lot lower?
Maybe I'll let the roads manager.
The last tender, we received one bid, sorry, through the.
Yeah.
Received one bid from Abby. They also.
Oh,
sent
that's right. I remember this.
This one, and it's the same price.
Good. Okay, so we're coming in a little bit. Questions, comments?
that was a question I had actually, so.
Sorry.
Okay, and then-
I've been doing really good at keeping my
You
lips.
did a
zipped tonight,
fabulous
so
job, it's all good.
Go.
It's gonna be a 2024 truck or a 2025 truck?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's gonna be a 2025 truck, we will get it the year 2025.
Could you maybe confirm? Cause 2024 bring, just send an email to CEO or 2025. Thank you.
I can check it from you.
Thank you.
Further questions, anyone? All right, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Yeah, moving along. Well, this one should be fun. The Cardinal Works Garage structural wall repair, unbudgeted item, Councilor Smith.
Thank you, your worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joe Martell. The municipality council authorized staff to proceed with the structural repairs and new partial wall in Bay 5 at the Cardinal Works Garage to an upset limit of 30,000 and cover the unbudgeted expense through the combination of operational adjustments and reserves.
Thank you. Discussion?
But somebody got that anyways.
Well, probably there. I'm yeah, I'm not happy that we have to come back and pay for a building without, under budget. I would, and then this is just me, I don't wanna open up a big argument. I'd rather have them take it out of their operation budget if they have money to pay for this, because what it was wear and tear over time, for sure, when you look at the pictures of keep shoving coal patch against the wall, against the wall, against the wall, and that's what happens. On page 112/88 and 111 shows it just from pushing. And that's, I'm no building inspector. When I see from the pictures, I'm not pleased if we have to spend $30,000 on a building that shouldn't have. I'll leave it at that.
I think you agree that it needs to be fixed.
It does.
This side? Why do you want to go?
Through the chair to whomever, do we have any concerns that once we start fixing here, things are gonna get worse? And is this an isolated spot?
So the chair, yeah, so the back wall. One of the issues is the trailer that sits beside the building, we may have to move just for access to get to the back, just to cover up the back wall. Side that's, well, the main concern right now is the back wall.
Okay. So it's kind of like how the rink started at Cardinal, correct?
I don't know.
Thank you.
I sense that there's a need for a longer or bigger discussion over some of this. I think that this needs to be done. I'm gonna call the question for it. But I get the sense that there's a discussion that needs to happen here.
Through the chair, yes, we can take it away and have that discussion. As far as what other items will this affect? Taking into consideration Councilor Martel's comments on one thing does generally lead to another, so I will talk with the CBO and the Director of Operations to see if this is an indication of a bigger issue at that building. But in the interim, the work needs to be done to fix the issue.
Yeah, I think we all agree with the work needs to be, the building needs to be shored up for sure. But I feel some tension and I don't usually, so I'd like to, maybe we can have a meatier conversation about something there.
I had one that, so when the CBO inspected, did he just inspect the area or did he just inspect the area or did they inspect the whole foundation around it? I know it's a big building, but.
Mhm.
If you get somebody out there prepared to do looking for all the problems.
I can have a discussion with the CBO, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
And maybe provide the group with that information
For sure.
as only information.
Yes, I think, given the questions that have been raised, I can look to have a report, for the next admin operations meeting in December.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right. And everyone comfortable with moving? I don't hear anybody motioning to defer this. So we're good. I'm gonna call the question. All right, hearing nothing then, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Opposed? All right, so we are moving on to item K, which is HFI request for Hands Road pavement extension. Councilor Smale.
Trying to find it, I have so many. Thank you, your worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Joe Martel. The municipal council remain consistent with the on opening road allowance policy. That's the right one.
I don't think so.
That's not the right one.
10K.
Yeah,
No, that's it.
HFI.
that's it.
That's it.
Oh, it does, sorry. Okay, discussion. There's a lot of sighing and nobody else
No,
to
no.
speak.
No,
So on this one, the recommendation is not to open the road at our cost at least, right? That's what I understand the recommendation to be.
Through the chair, that is correct. Is to remain status quo to our policy, which would be to not fund this item. However, if HFI wishes to fund that portion of the road, once it is done, we will maintain it if it's built to our standards.
Okay, and so if through the chair again, then so if they do that, they exercise that option and we build the road, then there's no extra tax along the way that comes to help us to maintain that road going forward. It's just
Through the chair, we're current manager of roads can correct me if I'm wrong, but we are already doing maintenance on that portion of the road in the winter time anyways to keep their parking lots open. So nothing will change. It's just the recommendation is just to be consistent with policy and
that's good.
no, I'm in favor of that. I again, the financial consideration, I don't like. Good shape, roughly estimate 35,000 to complete the work. I'm not into that. I want a firm price and, if HFI wants to go ahead. I mean, I think we can we do it and have them pay so much a year back? Is that possible like we did with the water? the lift pump with lift water with,
Oh, yeah, they're all.
Greenfield?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Through the chair,
Like if it's 50,000, I don't know, they probably pay, but I'm just saying, is there something?
through the chair, yes, we do have, agreements that we can reference that we've done in the past, if that's, an option for HFI.
Right. I just would want a firm quote, not this, well, if it's okay, and you just level it, and then all of a sudden it goes from 35 to 55, so. That's all. That's my drawback. I'm willing to work with the HFI if they're interested in doing something like that. But I want a firm quote.
I'm just wondering if they take over and pay for that. When we maintain it, when you say we maintain it, so in 10 years' time, do we pay to get it repaved again, or whatever it needs to be repaved?
Through the chair, yes, because it becomes part of our road network.
I'm. Yeah. If it was me, I like remaining consistent with the unopened road allowance policy, I have no issue with, I certainly want to support HFI to the best of our ability. I mean, they're a fantastic employer, they're a huge employer in our township, and I know that means we don't pave roads in front of their building for them, but. I certainly want to continue to work with them, like you've said, and this would be another big ask, and you know, certainly not a budgeted item. So for me, I'd like to see it again as a different discussion when it comes to budget time. Like if it was something for next year's budget where we could actually have a fulsome discussion on whether we wanted to open that road. And maybe by then HFI has expansion plans or development plans or something like that, that helps make, you know, more work on that road make some sense for us. So in my eyes, I'd like to see it again.
So you want to just leave it as it is, Mr. Mayor, for now, until budget time? Is this what you're saying? Or do you want to go back?
I think you can
to
let
them?
this fail. I mean, you can let this fail as, because there would be, you know, a new discussion. I think we can do that. Look into the clerk, because sometimes you can't revisit a decision within a year though, right?
Through the chair, I doubt at that point, within 6 months to a year, we would have the exact same recommendation. If it's all, it may be the CIO, Director of Operations, Manager of Public Works coming back after those discussions that have happened. With a recommendation for an agreement or some type of additional options.
Yeah, that would give us time, like the deputy mayor said, you know, if there's, or, you know, like, the CAO said, where if they want to pave it, we'll maintain it, where there's some give and take and we can negotiate something through. Yeah, all right, then I support this, but I also want to see it continue those discussions forward, and then if nothing ends up being agreed upon, maybe we can have that as a budget item. Or budget discussion item, not a budget item, budget discussion item. Certainly need to continue to support HFI, great people. All right,
Yes.
So then this one's gonna fail, right? I think.
No. Recommendation, we're gonna stick to it.
Oh, yeah, so it's gonna pass. You can't do one that's gonna fail. I found that out the hard way.
Okay.
All right, we're good. All right, then further comments, questions? Thanks for the help.
Read the recommendation.
I'm glad you got my back.
Mr. Mayor, read your recommendation.
All right, all in favor? Hey,
No, read the recommendation.
it's already been read.
Oh, good.
It's already been read, moved and seconded. That I've got. All right, all in favor, sorry. Good, all right. You might make me turn red.
Well, it'll be the first time.
All right, the new grain dryer project propane installation portion, Counselor Ward.
Yeah, so on the heels of our
Yeah.
conservation and demand management plans, here we are. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that Municipal Council 1 award the Propane Connect work as part of the new grain dryer at the annex project number 300-069 to W.O. Stinson in the amount of $302,000, excluding HST plus a 10% contingency. And 2, authorize the Port General Manager to sign the purchase order with W.O. Stinson on behalf of the township as recommended by the Port Management Committee.
I didn't know, I second it.
You wanna take it back?
No.
Totally within the realm. Somebody else will second it.
No.
Discussion. Nothing?
I don't think I have anything. I think we had lots of discussion.
Say your piece.
No, I just hope that the 302, what we're planning, comes in at that. Area 10%, that's all. That's all, and I'm sure it will.
No, I think we had lots of discussion about it. And so many times now.
It's council meeting, not a board meeting. No.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, good point then. To that point, it's really too bad that nobody can, without the cost of, what was it? $2.7 million, I think it was, get natural gas into the area. So we have to resort to using a material that they don't want us to use anymore. But that's just that whole business model just drives me crazy. But we also gotta maintain and grow our port. So here we are, growing our port.
I don't know if I have anything to add on this either. You sure? You good?
No,
Guys,
been around that.
I struggle with this one, my
Mhm.
goodness. All right, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor?
Yeah.
Painful decision. All right, we are on to correspondence. Counselor Smale.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joe Martell. The municipal council receives the correspondence listings for the following dates as previously circulated. June 26, 24, July 3rd, 2024, July 10th, 2024, and July 17th, 2024.
Thank you, Counselor. All right. Questions, comments regarding correspondence?
No, I have a little bit of papers. This is a motion, so.
Okay, all right, then I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Okay, then we can move to disbursements. Counselor Ward.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that municipal council receives the payment of municipal invoices circulated and dated as follows. Report dated June 26, 2024-101 for $2,012,000, $12,912.12. Report dated June 26, 2024-103 for $1,926,675.26. Report dated June 27th, 2024-104 for $230,502.67. Report dated July 17th, 2024-111 for $510,535.36. Report dated July 18th, 2024-112 for $274,706.72. And report dated July 18th, 2024-113 for $120,414.92 for a total of $5,075,747.05.
Thank you, Councilor Ward. Big month for sure. All right, questions on invoices, disbursements?
It's in my hand.
Good boys, good boys. All right, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Then we are on to bylaws. 13A Port Lease Agreement, St. Lawrence Marina. Councilor Smale, can you bring that first and second reading, please?
I'll do my best if I can get to the part and the rest. There we go. Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joe Martell, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the CAO, the Port General Manager, to execute a lease agreement with St. Lawrence Marina Limited, and this shall be constitute the first and second reading thereof.
All right, first and second reading on the lease agreement, couple of little changes and basically bringing in 2 extra parcels of land that they've been using anyways, and getting that all under the lease agreement. Comments, questions, anyone? First and second reading? Okay, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Unanimous, you can proceed to third.
Thank you, your worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joe Martell, that a bylaw to authorize the mayor, CAO, and the port general manager to execute a lease agreement with St. Lawrence Marina Limited to be now read a third and final time, and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2024-38.
Right. Comments, questions, anyone? Chris, anything? No. Steve?
No.
Joe?
No.
Lonnie?
None.
No. Certainly happy to see this get done on behalf of St. Lawrence Marina and Matt, and look forward to them continuing on as a very successful business there on the port property. It's a fantastic little marina, the only one we have in our township, and it's great to see it doing so well. So that'll call the question. All in favor? Good. That does not look like my signature. It looks like Steve. Yeah, nice. All right, the lease agreement for Joe Computer at the port, Councillor Ward.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillamont, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize the mayor, CAO, and the port general manager to execute a lease agreement with Joe Moulton operating as Joe Computer, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof. Thank you.
Good, first and second reading on the tower on the port. Questions, comments, anyone? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Unanimous. Proceed to third.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillamont, that a bylaw to authorize the mayor, CAO, and port general manager to execute a lease agreement with Joe Moulton operating as Joe Computer be now read a third and final time, and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered at 2024-39.
Well, with passing a third reading, I think everybody should have to take a tour up to the top of there and have a quick look.
Nope. You know, when we were up there the first time, I didn't notice it either.
Did you? You haven't been all the way up, have you?
No,
It's
no,
another
Oh,
level.
I saw it. You know what? It's funny.
Page 20.
That's off topic, but looking up at
That's
it from
okay.
the bottom, when you're looking at it, when you're in port day, I didn't realize how tall that area was right there.
Once you get up there. Yeah. All right, all joking aside, third reading, questions, comments, anyone? All right, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Screaming. Good. Great little project there. All right, CAO's administrative update. Councillor Martel, can you bring that forward, and then we'll let the CAO present us.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Waddy Smale, that municipal council receives the CAO's administrative report as presented.
All right, it's on the floor, and bring your report forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll go through this report rather quickly. Some time. Under administration for AMO, AMO reached out to the township to take part in the panel at the AMO conference August 18th to 21st in Ottawa. The CAO will be part of the panel with the Ministry of Energy and IESO for a session called Planning for Energy Procurements on August 20th. I think 1 till 2:15 is the session on that day. So
1 to 2.
1 to 2:15.
Good.
And for the Wellness Committee, busy working to organize an employee facility tour to help all interested employees become more familiar with all the facilities in the township, similar to what was done with council when council first joined up. For the housekeeping zoning bylaw amendment, we have a public meeting tentatively scheduled for 6 p.m. on August 26th. Bylaw manager of Parks and Rec, in conjunction with the bylaw officer, has put signage installed at the Cardinal waterfront and the Gallup Canal, indicating the restriction of camping and parking associated trailers. For Treasury, an ADP project, first pay run for full-time and part-time and second pay for council was completed and was successful. Staff will continue to be available for questions regarding the new program. ADP will be assisting us through the next 2 pay periods, so including the one this week and then the next one, while we learn the program, and then we'll transition to support team assigned to us for anybody that has any questions. With facilities and recreation, just some things on minor ball, continues 5 nights a week in Johnstown, Spencerville a couple times a week, and Seaway Search Fastball utilizing Cardinal 3 nights a week. For pickleball, final coating for the pickleball tennis court went down last week. Nets are up, and the court is seeing a great turnout. With courts now available, we've seen a drastic decline in Spencerville over the past 2 weeks. We'll be stopping the Tuesday and Thursday night sessions for the remainder of the summer this week. For swim meets, the Cardinal Sea Sharks meet was July 20th, and the Johnstown Polar Bears will be July 28th. For hockey contracts, just finalized the contracts with hockey associations. The Greedy Arena will open on September 1st, and Spencerville will open September 25th. For the splash pad, met with the Spencerville Agricultural Society to discuss the concept of having a splash pad on Fair Board property. The idea was well received by the members, and we'll have further information in the next month.
Nice.
It's all already met with the consultant. Moving on to Public Works. For SNC tree assessments, they conduct various tree assessments in Johnstown. We have an RFQ, and it was issued on July 2nd, 2024. For the maintenance gravel and dust suppressant, the program is completed on July 4th, 2024. Traffic study and counts. Staff have arranged with Triple G to conduct a traffic field study on the open road to collect counts and average speeds in other locations, including Baker Drive and Lennox Road. Traffic data collected on the open road to date. We're awaiting the report from Kurt Galloway. For the road program, the first phase of the project commences July 15th in Johnstown. Second phase will begin in September. Reed Street and Cardinal will begin in August. Moving on to environmental services, just some light fixtures, switching over to LED, and just regular maintenance ongoing there. For Spencerville wastewater system, engineering meeting scheduled with Novatech for Spencerville Station number 1 upgrades. EDB Engineering was unable to commit to the project. And other than that, just normal maintenance items. The fire department family barbecue will take place on Saturday, July 13th at Station 2. Attendees will have access to the pool, and firefighters will pitch games planned. Several participants within EC have been in to get sized for bunker gear to participate in the upcoming Women of Fire LG boot camp on July 27th at LTI EC. They'll utilize some of our spare outdoor gear. Staff from ECFD continue to be involved in the organizing of this initiative. From the fleet side of things, all apparatus is performing well. And in other items, just the small fire department participated on the 4th of July celebrations in Norwood, New York, and provided a couple of tanker loads of water for the Johnstown pool following a repair by recreation staff. That is my CAO's report.
Good, thank you, CAO. Councilor Smith?
Yeah, I just have one question. You say, I read here that Reed Street is starting in August. Will it be done before snow flies?
Through the chair to Councilor Smale, I believe it will be. For chair,
Yes, well, it should be in September.
So will it be paved as well?
It's the station.
Okay, good enough.
Nice gravel, we'll be in trouble. Good. Good.
Yeah, I just have a couple on page 183 and 185. just, I sure appreciate if we had some kind of, emails if something's going on with our, recreation, like the swim team meet. I missed last week's, didn't know about it. I see it here now, July 20th. Saw it on Facebook when it's too late, but if we could just have an email sent to our council saying, hey, this is up, if we're available, you can come, if you're not, it's not a big deal. I would have went, those things. Another one was the fire department had a barbecue, had no idea, people were asking me what's going on, at Dundee Castle. I said, I have no idea, then I find out later they had a fire department, barbecue. So just if we could keep us just keep us in the loop of what goes on, just with the quick.
Through the deputy mayor, I'll put this on the agenda for Wednesday's SMTV.
Thank you so much. It's good.
Echo, yeah, I echo those. Yeah.
I got a few, I'm sorry. Cardinal Waterfront and Gallup Canal indicating the restriction of camping and parking of associated trailers. Is that happening a lot, or is that like we put
Yeah.
it was? Wow.
Yeah, we get lots of you're not on them because it's only the CAO and 2 councillors, but yeah.
Okay. Well, there's your
But
story, I guess.
in all fairness too, I don't mind someone parking the Legion myself overnight if they've been driving 12, 14 hours and they haven't got a spot. I don't have an issue. That one day, pull in, have a sleep and off you go the next morning. I know there's incidents where people do take advantage. Yeah. But and I think we had that discussion, Mr. Spencer, on that.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, the signage says that you're not allowed to do it, it doesn't say, I know your comment about a 12, 14 hour drive, and then that's okay to stay tonight. The sign says don't park there,
Mhm.
so there's no gray area.
There's
No, and I can appreciate that, they get a ticket, but I can also appreciate the guy's tired, has no campsite, Grenville Park's full. By all means, I don't have an issue.
And I guess on facilities and rec, Mike, your team, great job, just a whole bunch of stuff happening, it was really great to see, just kudos to all these items on this list here, it was so great to see, and I really appreciate it. The only thing, not the only thing, it's not a bad thing, Spencerville splash pad, as you know, it's near and dear to my heart. Are we expecting to be able to have a budget, capital budget project, look-see for that for next year, do you think, or is that,
Through the chair to, Councilor Ward, yeah, that is the plan, is to have something ready for October.
excellent.
The shelf ready project.
All right, perfect. And,
with water warmed by solar panels, so that it's gonna bring this.
you know what, I got to do it for my own pool too, I think.
If not,
Don't get that.
And, last but not least, thank you for the traffic study, in counts. I really appreciate you guys putting Lennox Road, Baker Road Drive on there, just to make sure that there's nothing untoward there. I know we had some concerns from a few people, so I'm glad we're looking into that as well as, on Yoakum, so I really appreciate that. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, good comments. I haven't seen any of the traffic counters. Are they out on the?
I don't either.
They've been out on, through the chair, they've been out on Milcom Road, that study is completed.
Yeah.
And they'll do them randomly on the other roads.
Okay.
There's 3 more.
No good to have on an inquiry.
We'll see those reports, right? Like we'll get a look at them, we'll see what the percentile is, and so we can be open with the residents to get the feedback. You know, they were very concerned when they came in, so. Okay, good. Out. Busy.
Mhm.
Fantastic work by all. I mean, it's great. It's good. Looking forward to hearing you speak at AMO in a couple of weeks too.
Me too, I'm all excited.
We're all gonna, that's right, we'll all be incognito, so be ready.
Yeah.
It's those glasses with the nose or something?
Yeah, that's right.
Mustache.
The most obscure question you could have ever got. All right, so the motion reads the municipal council receives the CAO's administrative report as presented. It's been moved and seconded. No further comments. Call the question, all in favor? Good, then we are councillor inquiries and notice of move.
I have one, Mr. Mayor, the inquiries on, if we could maybe take a look. Do the chair of the CEO on Beverly Street, speed. There is getting, I've had three houses there, and it's only a short street, but they're saying they're going 80 clicks. What is it?
Where's Beverly?
It's that new subdivision up there by the stove store.
Oh, right,
there.
yeah, okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
80,
yeah.
that is fast.
Yeah,
And
sure.
they go all the way down there and they got a U, they can't even get out, but they got that
80s is a
turn
lot.
around now. I don't know if it's kids, but I had some concerned people. Especially one gentleman said it. I'm scared for the children, but I'm scared for me because he's on one of those.
Have you forwarded those, like, through email to CAO?
I just went and saw him tonight before I came here, so that's why I know, and that's
can-
why I like to put Chip.
Yeah.
The CEO and Chris on notice on that one.
Do that and get it as part of the public record.
And of course. I don't know if that's gonna work. Missed it, sorry. Anyways, don't forget
We're
Bluegrass.
super excited to come back. We've been there multiple years in the past and can't wait to come back this year. Got to meet Deputy Mayor Mr. Dillabaugh last year and we cannot wait to come back.
Claim your fame.
I believe we could always call him Deputy Mayor Mr. Dillabaugh from now on.
Anyways, we gotta support that
What's,
too.
say the dates again and the times.
8
and 13.
8th to the 13th? Yeah.
And we have the 9th, Friday night, 6
Right.
PM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my.
Chris?
Yep, yes, inquiry notice of motion, let's go with the notice of motion. So the half is out again, it says in there for municipalities, this is in correspondence, by the way. For municipalities that didn't get it the first time around, I'm assuming that applies for us for sure. Yep, exactly. So, and I think I saw the due date is early September, so I know we have one more council meeting before that. I don't know if we're gonna wait that long to put something up, but I think we should have another. If we have to have a discussion or just to resubmit, I'm not sure what we wanna do there, but, I think we need to put a plan together for resubmitting for that, so.
Just a quick follow-up with, so to be able to apply for the half, we had to do the study with, right?
The housing needs assessment?
Yes.
The chair, it wasn't a requirement, but it got us bonus points in the application review and would have had to be done if we were successful. It would have had to be done in the first few years.
Yeah, my question is it still relevant and usable on this application?
The housing needs assessment, absolutely, yes.
Okay, so it'll still fall through, could we spend a fair amount of money on it, so we're not gonna have to do it again.
No, absolutely not. In fact, municipalities that would have had that done in the last few years could have still used it in their original application. It's something that most municipalities, I think, have. Some municipalities, maybe I won't say most have, and that's just a tool that they use and they update. We have we've registered for a webinar on the 23rd to get some more information about the second round of applications. So we'll have some more information on what is needed then. I expect we're going to update our action plans. Remember we had 7 last time.
7.
We'll update our action plans. I think the request would be to be more aggressive this time around, but we've got a council meeting in August and CDC in September. Also, we'll bring something.
Did we get follow-up? They didn't give much follow-up or feedback on, I mean, I know it was like 3 or 4.5 times oversubscribed, right? Like there were so many people applied, they could have given it out.
Did have a follow-up call with CMHC, were not able to give us any details of why.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Our neighbors to the north were successful and we could take a look at their application and see what the parts not were, and we've got some resources we can take.
Fair enough, and yeah, one of the things I did want to highlight in there is, like, obviously, and I think we did, but obviously, to your point, I think you just said a minute ago, be more aggressive, talk about, we've got 250 homes near Cardinal, we've got 70 potential homes in Spencerville, we have, I don't know what the number of homes over there is in Johnstown, that we're really just trying to push, and there's some affordable units in there, and there's also just units in there, which will then free up other affordable units. I mean, it's crazy we didn't get the first one, especially when we were some of the few that got in on time, but it would be nice to get a more positive answer at this time, I guess.
Yeah, and I think like any of those programs, I think it was the BFF, the provincial one, right? I think this one's the federal one, but I think it was a Building Faster Fund, same deal, the oversubscription on it, right? It's so I'm shocked that everybody doesn't actually qualify for it somehow, you know. So there's a need and they want to build these homes.
Yeah, Put your money where your mouth is, I guess, is
Right,
where we're
yeah.
at, because we keep having people come to us, but needing money, yeah, or because we don't charge development fees, we can't do something.
Did you have another one?
Yes, I do. So, and on the other one, and this is probably just an inquiry, and I don't know if it's, I think it's the right forum, but I could have probably just sent an email maybe, but I was approached by one of my constituents about the exclusion zone around the Pittston dump area. And they believe that at the end of this year, that exclusion zone is allowed to be removed. I don't know if that's true or not. And if it is, great. And does that also mean we can spend less money as well? And that's a question, I guess, to be answered at some point. But
I'm looking at the clerk, but her head's down.
Through the chair, it may be better that our community development coordinator do a little bit of research in regards to the exclusion zone in our zoning bylaw. Maybe it may even fall under our director of operations that has previous experience on this one. But I do not want to answer.
Yeah, that's why it's.
no, it was an inquiry.
That's why it's an
Yeah,
inquiry.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
It was not an inquiry for answering tonight.
Interesting question. Like to hear the answer to. Yes.
Through the chair, can we get the next steps on the canal cleanup on the September CDC agenda?
That's the chair.
Probably doesn't discuss it there, Phil.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Counselor.
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay.
The first inquiry is to Mike, the rec director. There's been incidents occurring down at the boat ramps. And I'm inquiring to see if we can get a sign made that says no swimming, no fishing. The big problem is fishermen will not move for boaters to come in. And the one gentleman, he wasn't mad at me, but he let me know that he paid $25 to use his boat ramp and these guys won't get off the dock. So he can bring his boat in, won't stop fishing. Then 2 days later, another person went down there and he told them he was gonna throw them in the water if they didn't get the lines out of there. So as soon as he got his boat in, they cast the lines right over top of his boat when he went to get they wouldn't bring them back in. So I think there's gonna be altercations down there. I know years ago, I worked for the town and we had a sign down there that said no swimming. But we do have docks at the canteen that you can fish off. Am I not correct?
Got all kinds.
So why did,
Fish might be biting better down there.
I agree, but I mean. We're charging people to use that boat ramp and. These guys aren't paying to fish off there.
Okay, inquiry made. It's not a discussion.
Yeah, it's
Do you, anything you need to say back to that or no?
Through the chair to, Councilor, you're right, we did have one time no swimming signs. That we had it right on the dock. But the fishing, we've never. Please.
No, never did before.
no.
Yeah. Okay, next one.
Through the chair to the roads department. I noticed they put gravel down on the Legion Way Road towards the divers, but we used to grade that all the time. Is it not being graded no more?
Through the chair, usually by request, I believe, since I've been by request, I can follow the directive operations too.
Because we regraded the boat launch parking lot and the other road, so we always did the other end. Does that
The
make
whole
sense?
launch was by request this year.
Oh,
I will follow.
I have one more, Mr. Mayor.
I'll come back to you, Steve.
and I just have one more.
Councilman Mills got a book.
The sidewalk at the Legion. I get so many complaints because of the douche droppings and everything, and is there any?
That should be fixed by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That's all for me, thank you.
Good. See, look at action.
I've inquired, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a bunch of people concerned along the railroad with CN. Trying to put the responsibility on the landowner to have actually crossings. This is not CN, it's supposed to be the federal transportation. Don't know, but I phoned our MP and he's looking into it, so I'd just like our council to be aware and tell any of your landowners, if you get phone calls, that we are on top of it. We'll direct anything, I asked him to direct Randy to direct anything to our CEO, so. And we, you know, we gotta follow up and make sure that, and I'm gonna go to Robin
Yeah, Jones.
Jones.
I'm gonna follow up on what you just said and, I mean, I know staff will bring something forward for us so that we understand exactly what's going on. Cause most of us we've only read the letter, or I don't know if everybody's read the letter.
Yeah,
but certainly,
That's right.
certainly needs to be a discussion, here and if there is
And
a
Oma.
support
And-
resolution.
Ava.
Yeah, or if there is a potential support resolution. If AMO has something already that they're working on and we can put our backing as a municipality. Maybe some options when we have that discussion at the table. Support or other.
Just want us to be aware of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Very important.
Here, it makes tons of sense, yeah.
Thank you.
Good that you remembered that. Further, anybody?
I would go for
Are these ones that you can do an email, or do you need to do them in a meeting?
Oh, no, I can do it by email.
I mean, if you feel they
No,
need
no,
to be
that's
in
good. No
an
problem.
open council meeting, then.
Yeah, so, see how we go.
All right. I don't really have any inquiries, but I'm just gonna skip my mayor's report, but before I do that, I just want to say congratulations to. Well, I will say it first this way, the Cardinal Sea Sharks for a successful, I can't, it's out of my
Swim meet.
swim meet,
Swim meet.
for God's sake.
That's cause when you.
I was
die, you
thinking,
know, you-
I was thinking soccer festival that I was stuck at in Kingston, so for Shark Week, that's right, yeah, for the Cardinal Sharks for a successful Shark Week. And I guess, in reading from Kim that, Johnstown Bear Paws won, so congratulations not only to Cardinal for being successful host, but to our group of kids, fantastic kids in Johnstown for their success. That's fantastic. It sounded like until the very end, it was an excellent meet. So congratulations to all on that. And I'll just say it this way is to all of our staff, Public Works, planning. I know it's hard. And being short, and Mike and Recreation, and everyone that I talk to, in our from our staff, everything that I hear outside is so positive, from almost every single person we talk to. And just, on the record for all of you, thank you. You guys are doing a hell of a job, and it needs to be said once in a while. So thanks to all of you. All right, QP, any questions from question period?
Oh, so you don't want me to read?
No,
your-
that's not a mayor's report. That was inquiries. Or,
I still.
you want me to
have
do it as mayor's report?
Through the chair, it makes it a little bit more clean.
All right, we'll do it as a mayor's report. Go ahead.
Okay, moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Ward, the municipality council receives the mayor's report as presented. And I just put down there Cardinal swimming meet and Johnstown Bearcats one.
There you go. Good job, Bearcats. All right, all in favor? Good. All right, QP, any questions at all? No. Then we are going into closed session, so. Councilor Ward, I think we have that item.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that municipal council proceeds into closed session at 8:53 PM. In order to address a matter pertaining to a matter, compared to several matters pertaining to section 239(2)(f). Advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, specifically Lockmaster Meadow subdivision. B, subsection 239(2)(b), personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically Byers Road property. C, section 239(2)(c), acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, specifically Byers Road property. D, section 239(2)(b), personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or board employees, specifically planning and administration. And E, section 239(2)(b), personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically approved minutes of closed session dated June 24, 2024.
I miss C. Can you go back and?
Sure, I could, no problem. Got it memorized, actually.
All right, let's proceed into closed session then. All in favor? Okay, closed session, 5-minute break. Welcome, Warren. We're just about to go into, well, we are actually technically in closed now, but we're taking a 5-minute break just so that the room can clear and everybody can use the facilities.
No problem.
All right, moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that the closed meeting of municipal council does now adjourn and the open meeting does now resume at 10:50 or 9:58 PM.
10:50. That would not be good. All right, coming out of close, back into open, all in favor?
Aye.
Favor in open, go Mayor Dillabaugh.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Ward that the municipality council receives and approves the minutes of a closed session dated June 24th, 2024.
Okay, approval of the minutes, call the question, all in favor? Minutes approved, reporting out of closed session, council met in closed session. To receive and received, I should say, advice that is subject to solicitor client privilege under section 239(2)(f), including communications necessary for that purpose, specifically Lockmasters Meadow subdivision. And we also gave direction regarding section 239 2B and C. Specifically Byers Road property. And do I need more or am I good with that? Yeah, okay. And section 239 2B personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees under the planning and administration. And we gave direction to the CAO. And that is it for reporting out of closed session. Confirmation bylaw, Councillor Martel.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Waddy Smail, that a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution now be passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2024-40.
Call the question, all in favor? Okay, moving on to adjournment. Councillor Smail, you have that item.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joe Martel, that the municipal council does adjourn at 10:01 PM.
Call the question, all in favor? We are adjourned.
It's got 9 more seconds.